Percussion has this kind of amazing lineage where it's simultaneously, one of the oldest instruments. I think voice and percussion are some of the first things humans started doing. And it feels a lot like one of the newest instruments at the same time, because for so long it was in the back of the orchestra or, accompanying different things, at least in the Western tradition. And it's only in the last 70, 80 years that percussion quartets like us have started coming together and commissioning music for just percussion. So it's simultaneously very old and very new.
When we are born, we have a drum in our being called a heart. So that's already music. And the first sound we make is music. So I think music and sounds and rhythm are part of our being. And then if you open the window, well, there's more music. There's wind, there's birds. So I think music is something or I should say sounds is something we react to. And then organized sounds become music.
Growing up, I was always drawn to the drummer because it's so physical and tactile, and you can imagine yourself doing that. There's nothing magical happening about holding a stick and hitting something with it. Like, we can all do that. And that's what we're doing. Yeah, sure, we've spent, decades honing that craft, learning how to do it faster, quieter, louder, all these different things. But at its core, you can imagine yourself doing it, which I always find very, very fascinating. And the music, sure, it's wild and it's, contemporary classical, but at the same time, we hope it's able to draw on experiences anyone has had.
I had never played an orchestra or anything like that, but this teacher that I met introduced me to contemporary music, to the idea that there are composers out there inventing new sounds, new repertoire, new music right in this moment. And percussionists are kind of perfectly placed to collaborate with them because they don't have a lot of repertoire. Composers want to write repertoire. It's an easy marriage.
Part of our mission as a percussion quartet, partially out of necessity and partially because we love it, is to commission new music, bring new music into the world. And I think my favorite thing about that is that new music has the entire history of every musical tradition that the composer knows of. That's all available to be drawn upon in the new piece. And so while I love playing old music, what I love about new music is it contains the old music oftentimes. It has the influences.
Being a percussionist kind of means that you have to be open to making music on anything that you can find.
I mean, there are some standard instruments, of course, the vibraphone, the marimba, and these get repeated over and over again. But a lot of what we do is a mixed bag. We call it multiple percussion. And it's just, you name it, the kitchen sink, literally. It could be part of it.
I remember playing a show once. We were in Northern Ireland, and we were at a brewery. We were at a bar, and there was like this keg sitting there, and we hit it, and it sounded amazing. And we asked if we could have it for the concert that night because it was a better sound than what we had.
It is extremely fun. I mean, I started as a drum set player like most kids do. And then I fell in love with how expansive it is.
There's something that doesn't have to be stuffy about classical music. I mean, yes, there is music that is 300 years old, that is incredibly beautiful, that is so important to our development culturally as a species, but also there are people today that are creating things, and you could be a part of that if you want to play flower pots, if you want to play metal pipes, if you want to do any of these things. All that matters to us is communication of some kind or another. And folks do this in the pop music space, in the jazz music space, all over the place. And we're trying to bring that idea to our weird little subsection of classical music. It even feels silly to call what we do classical, because while of course it has so much context and so much history and so much connection to classical music, it is trying to do something completely different. And that feels really exciting to us because it is the music of our time. It's music that is built given the society that we live in, the culture that we live in, what's going on all over the world. It's all based entirely on that experience. And that feels like a really vital thing to be involved with right now.